This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter, and this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com, including our other podcasts, Anthology and Tower Junkies, over at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. And you can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And once again, just at the top here, this episode is sponsored by Horror Movie Yearbook and the Midwest Podcast Network. You can find their work at HM Yearbook on Twitter and at horrormovieyearbook.com. And also, if you are in Indianapolis, Shocktober in Irvington tickets are now on sale for the early bird price of $6. Shocktober in Irvington is a one-night event screening of short horror films from local filmmakers. We raffle off prizes, host Q&As with the filmmakers after each screening, and just have a really great time. And this year we're going to have a cash bar sponsored by Geeking in Indiana, so that's exciting. Find more information at shocktoberinirvington.com and buy the tickets there, please. That would be awesome of you. So, today on the podcast, making her third appearance on the podcast is my friend Kyrsten Leister.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Welcome to my podcast, Matt.
It's not
Thank you
your
so much for joining me.
It's not.
The people have spoken.
You steal one blanket and suddenly you let it all go to your head.
In my defense, it's a nice blanket.
It is a very nice blanket.
It is. It's very cozy.
A Christmas gift from my mother.
To me.
So, no, not to you. You've never really met my mom, have you?
I have never met your mother.
Wow. Okay. Gotta keep it that
And whose fault is that?
I don't know. I guess I could have introduced you at Shocktober last year. So, this went weird. So.
This went sideways real fast.
So,
I'm glad to be back.
You're
Thank
back.
you for having me back on.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on. It's probably been like a month since you were on.
Something like that. Yeah. Close to that.
Yeah. And, so this week, what we're doing on the podcast is Kyrsten and I have seen a handful of movies in the
Intravenous?
Intravenous. In the ensuing time, I don't know. We've seen several movies since she was last on.
I have no idea what you were trying to say.
Me talk real good one day.
Today is not that day.
Not today. So yeah, it has been about a month since you've been on. We last talked about Skyscraper. Oh, it's been a little bit less than a month.
Yeah, we still have to do our Dwayne Johnson watch.
Yes.
That would be a lot of fun. I think
absolutely.
we should do that.
I really do think so too.
Yeah. It's
probably
the same movie, just with different settings.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm sure I've told you about this, but we did on the podcast in the early days of Summer of Sandler.
I have heard, you did tell me about
this. Never gonna watch another Adam Sandler movie again. But, unless we do Summer of Sandler Part 5. But anyway.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah. It was bad. But, yeah, we'll have to do something similar to that with The Rock. I don't know. I like the filmmaker Michael Mann. I've wanted to do since we did a Summer of Sandler, I wanted to do a Michael Mann retrospective just because I wanted to name it The Fall of Man, but we haven't gotten that worked out yet.
That's real good.
I know. Thank you.
Now anyone listening can take that idea and run with it.
Well, I've said it before. It's technically trademarked or copyright. I don't know.
Is it technically?
Technically, yeah.
Technically, is it?
Copyright ObsessiveViewer.com. Boom.
I don't think you can just say copyright and something is copywritten.
It's like when you declare bankruptcy. You can just shout, "I declare bankruptcy."
Well, as long as you don't say it and you declare it.
So anyway, we have seen several movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any news that we can go over, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Although I will say that last time you were on, I made I purposely released it as quickly as I could because I knew that I felt like it was time sensitive because we were talking about James Gunn stuff. And it's kind of shocking that here we are almost a month later and it wasn't time sensitive because he's still fired. Like, they haven't reversed that or anything.
I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I will say one thing that popped up in my Facebook memories is it's been 4 years since Robin Williams passed.
I noticed that.
Yeah. So
yes,
that sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's still like I don't get too attached to celebrities, and you and I have kind of talked about this before.
Right.
There are those people who, whenever a celebrity dies, they make a big deal. Like that one scene from The Office where
Smokey Robinson dies.
And he's like, "Oh, the Smoke Man," and he's like, and Pam is like, "Name one other song of his, just name one," and Ryan can't do it.
Yeah.
People like that exist in real life.
Yeah.
And it's just irritating.
I'm not above saying that I have hidden people on Facebook specifically because they constantly post like that stuff.
But I will say that was one that kind of hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, because you actually met him in real life.
I did, yeah. Well, and it wasn't because of that. I mean, I grew up, watching Robin Williams films, and he made me want to be funny.
Nice.
So that it hurt. But yeah, I did get to meet him one time when I was in college. I took a spring term trip to New York. I was a theater major. So we stayed for a week in a hostel in Chelsea. And as part of the package that we paid for, we got to see several different plays and musicals on Broadway. So one of the shows that we saw was Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo by Rajiv Joseph. And we chose that show specifically because we were doing a Rajiv Joseph piece later in our season. Okay. So we wanted to see one of his pieces. And Robin Williams starred as the tiger. And it was a phenomenal performance. I mean, the show was great, but he was amazing. And I was horribly hungover that day. I was kind of tight on money. It was like I could barely afford to go on the trip to begin with. So I was like, I'm just going to not spend any money when I get to New York, and I'll eat air and try and save all my money that way. Well, I had friends who like, oh, come on, we'll go out. We'll buy you drinks. I was like, well, I'll go out one night. And we went to this gay club called the Posh Club. Okay. And we had so much fun. We danced all night, and I got to hang out in the VIP section, and these guys were buying me drinks all night, and I was like, I have stuff to do tomorrow. I can't keep drinking. And they were like, but you're in New York. And I was like, I am in New York, more shots. And I got so like probably the drunkest I've ever been.
Wow.
And I turned to my friend Ashley at one point, and I was like, I have to go. And she was like, okay, I'll call a cab. And so we get home, and I'm sleeping in the bathroom, and I got sick, and she slept with me. She was very, very nice to me.
Nice.
When I was at my most disgusting moment. So the next day I woke up, and I was so hungover. I slept the entire day. I ate like half a bagel. Riding the subway to the theater was torture.
Oh God.
I took a shower like right before we left. The show was at like 7:00. So it was like around 5:30 or so, and I threw up in the shower, and I will admit that.
Wow.
It was horrible. And I was like, I don't want to go see this show. But I had to, because I already paid for the ticket. And I was like, I can't miss an opportunity to see Robin Williams perform live.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went, but I didn't enjoy it. But it was a really good show. And then after the show, I just wanted to go back. But we had two rules. You couldn't leave the island.
Okay.
And you couldn't travel alone.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone else wanted to stay and see Robin Williams, and we gotta wait and see if Robin Williams will come out. And I'm hungover as shit, miserable, dehydrated.
Right.
And I'm like, Robin Williams is not gonna just come out and start taking pictures and kissing babies. And then Robin Williams came out like immediately after the show.
Nice.
I think he was like still in costume, and he, was very generous.
Nice.
Signing autographs and everything. I didn't have anything with me, and I just shook his hand, and I said, Robin Williams. I was like, hey, it's you. Nice. Big fan. Thanks. And he's like, oh, thanks. And I was like, I gotta go. I'm hungover. And he was like, that's okay. I'm hungover too. And I was like, hey, Robin Williams. So that's my story.
Nice.
But yeah, I always was. I mean, I'm sure everyone was a huge fan of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys who, you can't not like him,
right?
Or his work.
Yeah, like you can at least. I mean, you can say like, oh, I don't really like Robin Williams. He's not my kind of performer.
Really, because I've never met someone who has said that.
I never have. I'm saying that just in case someone listening, but you would have to still respect him for what he did, and how talented he was. Yeah, I remember.
I remember when that happened as well.
Yeah.
Devastating. Millions died.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible.
Anyway.
What happened?
I remember 4 years ago, I actually remember like finding out that Robin Williams died. It was kind of weird because we were recording the podcast. We were about to record the podcast, and it was me, Tiny, and then Mike was Skyping in, but Mike's brother, Kevin, was coming over to record with us. It was actually, I think it was one of the Summer Sandler episodes, actually, oddly enough. And at the time, we were recording at my brother's house, and it was weird because Kevin came in and he was just like, "Oh, hey, Robin Williams is dead." It's just like
very casual.
Yeah. So that was an
it's one of those everyone remembers where they were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like 9/11 and when Robin Williams died.
Right, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's
other than that, I don't remember where I am. Where am I right now? Who could say? I don't know.
Well, we can't say. Just to, make sure that I'm protected as a world-renowned podcaster.
You do have a stalker, so
I do.
She's probably listening. But she already knows where you live. So.
Well,
what are you worried about?
I might have to cut that out.
Sure.
Oh, God. Yeah. Jesus. So we've seen some movies.
We have. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, so let's see.
Oh, your garbage disposal's possessed.
It is. That's, oddly enough, that reminds me. So you threw up in the shower, but did you throw up in any sinks or anything?
No, not this time.
No, yeah. It's just, something you do.
One time.
After
I was forced.
You were not forced.
Shots.
Oh my God. You were in no way forced. Do not say
I was
that.
in every way forced.
No, you weren't.
That was, what was that? Whiskey?
It was whiskey.
On top of vodka? On top of wine?
Yes.
And I said, that's not a good idea.
But you still took the shots. I did not coerce you.
Under duress.
You. No, you were not under duress. And then you got up and puked in my sink.
In my defense, I made it to the sink.
You did make it to the sink. But you were so drunk, I was trying to tell you to get the rubber, stopper out of it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and
I tried.
Couldn't. So I had, because the water was piling up and everything. So I had to stick my hand submerge my hand into the sink and pull that out for you.
Why you keep the stopper in all the time is beyond me.
Well, are you supposed to take it out? It's not like the stopper. It's like the little, I don't know. Well, I will always keep it in.
Why?
I don't know.
No one does that.
Really?
Yeah.
By that, I mean the little, filter thingy. The rubber, filter thing that is in the
Look, let's move on,
anyway,
shall we?
The point is, I submerged my hand into water that was filled with your vomit.
You should be so lucky.
So don't you dare try to say that I coerced you or forced you to do something you did not want to do.
I didn't want to take shots.
You did, though.
I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, you did take the shots, though.
But I didn't want to. That's the point.
Well, you should have said no then.
I said I didn't want to.
No, you didn't. You said, oh, that's a bad idea. And then you took the shots. And then I took more shots than you.
Yeah. I'm like half your size, though.
You are, but just saying. And it was good. It was like scotch. It was good stuff. I'm not really one to drink that. But being around you, I just wanted to be even more inebriated because you're a lot to deal with. Anyway, so we've seen...
I'm a fucking delight.
Oh, that reminds me. So there is talk now after your last appearance on the podcast of doing an Obsessive viewer group outing to your show that is opening next weekend.
No pressure.
Yes. So I haven't bought my ticket yet, but my question is, Because I like to do this whenever you have a show. What day would you like me to go to it?
Well, I had the show dates. There we go. Let's see. We'll probably not opening night because we'll probably be finding our footing.
Sure.
And probably not closing night.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 shows at 7:30. 7:30 is probably a good time to come.
Okay.
So we have a show on August 19th and a show on August 23rd that are both at 7:30. Other than that, we have a 4:30 matinee. And matinees are usually kind of dead, so it's usually not the best performance. And we have a 9 o'clock show, but that's a late show. You never know what you're going to get. So
right. So you said what days?
August 19th and the 23rd. We have 7:30 shows.
Okay.
So either of those would be good.
Okay. August 19th at 7:30?
Yes, the Pope walks into a bar, Father Ned, for the Indie Fringe Theater Festival.
Sweet. I'm putting that in my calendar now. So
and you should too.
You should too. So yeah, the August 19th, 7:30 showing, or performance?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Screening.
Well, no.
No. I'm just going to put Kyrsten's play. Okay, so I will be there. If you are going to be there, if you're listening and you're going to be there, let me know and we can coordinate and stuff.
I'll be there.
Yeah, well, it's not all about you. Well, it kind of is. Well, this one time it is about.
A bit about me.
Yeah. Well, Anyway.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, August 19th.
Yeah.
Yes, 7:30.
7:30.
Super excited. That is a Sunday, so that'll be fun.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got everything out of the way. Let's talk about movies.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we have seen, I believe, 4 movies in the last month or so.
Okay.
We've also actually seen some other movies that we haven't talked about on the podcast. So I'm going to really just one movie we haven't really, well, a couple of them actually, because we haven't talked about that. I can't help it. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the old ones, or I'm going to bring up a couple of the old ones, because we're probably not going to have a lot to talk about since it's been a while. But the first one is, I just had it here, Isle of Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a while.
It has been a while. We saw that on April 14th, really?
Wow.
Yeah, so what'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. Wes Anderson. Always has very imaginative, and just very interesting films.
Yeah.
They're always very visually, stunning movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing is accidental.
Right.
In his films. I really liked Isle of Dogs. It was a great cast.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston was in it.
Ed Norton.
Other people.
Names.
As well. It was really good. I know that there was a bit of controversy.
Yeah, about the
film came
kind
out.
of whitewashing or the depiction of
the portrayal of Asian culture.
Yeah.
In the film, and with not being Asian myself, it's hard to say whether it was accurate or not. I honestly didn't have a problem with it, but then again, it would be difficult for me to say. Right.
And I'm the same way. I didn't find any issues with it, but it's also not my culture or anything.
Yeah.
So it's not anything that resonated with me in any way. But the actual story of it is, it was a pretty unique movie because with Wes Anderson movies, I definitely have to be in the mood for it. I have to be in a very specific mood. Sure. And every time we saw the trailer for it, I kind of thought that could be okay, but it also...
I wanted to see it because I thought it looked so whimsical.
And that's fair.
And it was. I thought it was. Yeah.
It's funny because every time we'd see it, you'd be like, oh, I want to see that movie. And then I would, in my head, I don't know if I ever actually vocalized this, but I was like, it seems like it's the most Wes Anderson.
That's an adjective.
Wes Anderson movie ever. And that kind of felt like I wasn't too into it. But when we saw it, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It was charming, and I just liked the connection between, the dog characters and the human characters.
The boy and his search for his dog.
Exactly. Which is always a good way to kind of get me hooked on a movie. Yeah.
It's a classic story.
Yep. So yeah, that's a brief review of Isle of Dogs, but we both liked it.
Yeah.
The other one I want to bring up that we haven't talked about is Incredibles 2.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we watched The Incredibles.
We did.
Was it the day before, the day of,
I think,
or the week before? It was. We saw it recent, not long before we went and saw the second one.
Yeah. Let me actually check. Looking on Letterboxd. By the way, follow me on Letterboxd. Then. Obsessive viewer. We watched the Incredibles on the 23rd, June 23rd, and then we saw Incredibles 2 on June 30th. So
okay.
It was about a week before.
Okay, yeah.
We actually watched the Incredibles the same day we watched A Wrinkle in Time. So we must have watched that after we recorded. Did we?
I don't remember the timeline.
I don't know either. But anyway.
But it was good. I didn't like it nearly as much as the first one.
Same here.
I don't know. It just
Yeah. There's one sequence that I thought was absolutely incredible. That was Elastigirl.
The train sequence. Yeah, that was good.
That was just so cool.
Yeah.
And like the motorcycle she had and the way that it was used alongside her powers was just really cool.
Very imaginative.
Absolutely.
And it was kind of a different take on, the superhero family, because the father stayed at home, the mother, went out and did the work, and it was interesting. And it was good, and there were lots of new characters. But it was, for me, it was kind of meh as a
Same
sequel.
Here. Yeah. As a standalone movie, it was okay, but
I'll admit I had really high expectations.
Yeah, that's true. That's
because
true.
The Incredibles is one of the best Pixar films.
Oh, absolutely.
That's ever been made.
Yeah.
And it was good. I was shocked that those weird strobe effects that they use.
Yeah.
Apparently, so they didn't have any warnings at first until people started complaining online, like, hey, there's no warning, and some of the scenes were like a minute full of black and white strobe effects, and it's
absolutely,
it's like, well, why would you think that would be okay to show without any type of warning? That's crazy. And I mean, it was excessive. Like,
I mean, visually it looked amazing, if I'm being honest, but like the fact that so many, like, as you think a Pixar movie, hundreds of people work on that.
Yeah.
Like no one was
like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it makes me think of, I've been thinking so much about Pokemon lately.
Oh yes.
Because I'm replaying, Pokemon Game Boy games right now. But I remember being a kid and hearing about the whole Electric Soldier Porygon fiasco. I think it was before, Pokemon even came to America. It was when it was still like, just showing in Japan.
Okay.
But there's an episode where it has like excessive strobe effects like that, and hundreds of children who had no history of epilepsy had seizures and had to be hospitalized.
Jeez.
And the episode was pulled, and it was never aired again, and it never made it to America. Apparently, I think I read somewhere that like the American voice actors said that they dubbed the episode.
Oh,
but
really?
It's never been released in America.
Right.
But it made me think of that, and it's like, how could you, like, produce that?
Yeah.
And not think that, not think that it would be dangerous.
Right. Absolutely. It's funny. This is a small tangent, and it's more just a stupid anecdote, but it's funny because, like, as part of my job, I took a course you know what course it was. I don't want to say it or anything for condition of anonymity.
Sure.
But, like, it was like all about, like, customer service and like helping unruly customers and stuff like that. But like one part of it was, like, it was supposed to like teach like, how to be, more sympathetic toward unruly customers and stuff like that. And like part of it was, like actually defining the word empathy. Like it was part of the actual course was like, empathy means this and stuff. And I was like, that's so weird. Cause like I'm a pretty empathetic person and I'm like, I don't understand like why, like,
how could you not
how is
know
this,
and have it? And
why is this a thing that is like, needs to be defined?
Because there are a lot of sociopaths.
Exactly.
Who work for our company.
Yes. especially in a certain department that moved to the 4th floor and is sitting on my couch.
Don't you talk about finance like that.
That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that.
Anyway.
Hang on. Okay. Gotta get comfortable.
Okay.
Since you took my blanket.
It was offered.
So, what?
It was offered. It was a gift.
No.
And I accept
it was a gift from my mom to me.
And
anyway,
I'm
we're
taking
not having
it with
this.
me when I leave.
No, you're not. Please don't take my blanket.
It's a very fluffy blanket.
Please don't take my blanket.
So what else have we watched?
Okay, so we also watched. Let's go into the more recent ones.
He had a singular vision of kindness and love.
Love is at the root of everything. All learning, all relationships, love or the lack of it. Children have very deep feelings, just the way everybody does. There must be times when you do feel blue. I'm not feeling blue right now, though.
Me neither.
Won't you be my neighbor? Well, I suppose it's an invitation. It's an invitation for somebody to be close to you.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Greatest thing that we
I was supposed to record a bonus episode, or not even a bonus episode, just a review with Mike. But he packed up his recording equipment, so we couldn't make that happen. So if you listen to the Letterboxd Potpourri episode, I talk a little bit about Won't You Be My Neighbor. So since I've already talked about it, Kyrsten, what did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. And what's your history with Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I would really only watch Mr. Rogers when I stayed home sick from school.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like Mr. Rogers would come on, and then like Sesame Street, and then Saved by the Bell, and that would be my day.
Nice.
But I mean, I remember thinking, I remember being aware of the fact that it was an older show when I was a kid, but never thinking it was hokey or like childish or like, you know, too.
Like you, would you say you never felt like you were too old for it
No.
or grew out of it or anything?
Yeah, I never felt like that.
Okay.
I mean, I remember, I mean, as recently as just, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I remember flipping through the channels and it was on and I stopped and I watched like 3 or 4 episodes.
Nice.
And it's just so wholesome.
Yeah.
And I've always really respected, Mr. Rogers because, I know that he was a pastor and he never like made that a part of his show.
Right.
You know, as someone who grew up in a household that wasn't particularly religious and who is not a religious adult, it's just really nice for someone to not have to push that on other people. Right. You know?
Oh, totally. Oh, absolutely.
So,
like, I was kind of in a position where it was trendy, like, among my peers when I was a kid that, like, oh, Mr. Rogers is for little kids, and, like, oh, it's stupid to like Mr. Rogers, so I just never sought it out or never watched it.
Yeah.
But watching this documentary was like, man, I missed out on something huge.
Yeah.
And, like, part of me just wonders, like, if I had watched Mr. Rogers, like, if it was a big part of my life, like, how different of a person would I be?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, very wholesome.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about, you know, being who you are and who you are is who you're meant to be. You know, and I feel like that, you know, it could really affect a child's self-esteem.
Oh, totally.
Hearing things like that. If you don't hear that a lot in home, you know, like in growing up as a child.
Yeah.
Then you miss out on that.
Oh, totally. And, like, the way that the documentary depicts him is, like, so, like, I mentioned this on the other episode, and I don't think I mentioned it to you after we saw it, but I really think that Mr. Rogers is, like, it's, like, the closest thing to just a genuine, like, real-life superhero. Because the way that he took information in and condensed it and put it out to children, and the way that he just communicated to children was, you know, on a whole nother level.
Well, we do still have LeVar Burton, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right, LeVar.
Don't
yeah,
we
that's true. That's true.
But one thing I wasn't aware of that they mentioned in the documentary is after 9/11 happened, he did like a special.
Yeah.
And that was like, way long after he'd been off the air for years.
Several
at that
years,
point.
yeah.
And he had to come back and, there was some documentary footage of him, expressing doubt, like, can I connect with this? Should I talk about this? And he felt like he had a duty to children, that he had to help them understand what was going on in the world. And he was such a remarkable human being because he really cherished every child that he met. And there was nothing insincere about his performance. Because I feel like it wasn't a performance.
Right,
Every indication we have shows that who he was on his show was who he was in real life.
Yeah, just a completely genuine presence. And
who truly cared for children and wanted the best for them. There was one part where I teared up so bad.
Yeah.
When he had that one boy on the show. He was bound to a wheelchair, and they sang that song.
Yeah.
That I think I've seen that episode, or I've seen that clip somewhere, because it was familiar to me, but it was really beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It was really nice. And they had him back on in the
right.
Yeah. It was good.
Good stuff.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
And I mentioned this also, but I don't know if you felt this way after we saw it, but like, I remember like when we were walking out the theater, like as the credits are rolling, we're walking down the little steps and everything. I remember thinking like in my head, like, I just sat for an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes experiencing this documentary. And now I'm going out back into the world where everything's on fire. Everything is terrible.
Where everything sucks.
Yeah. And it's like, I felt like the documentary did such a great job of just pulling us into this world and his story. And I really respected it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And I want to make sure that because we're getting to other movies that are more recent and stuff. And it's kind of tricky because I don't want us to spoil anything. So I don't know. We can do spoiler sections for.
I don't think there are any spoilers for "Won't You Be My Neighbor."
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: he dies.
I was just because do you remember? I feel like kind of a dick for making this joke, but you and I were trying to decide what movie to see, and it was between "Won't You Be My Neighbor" and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think we decided to see Ant-Man. And I think I made a joke and said something like when we were trying to decide, I was like, well, I mean, we know how "Won't You Be My Neighbor" is going to end, and not Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this is a good one. So sorry to bother you.
Yeah. You saw that one twice.
I did.
I feel like I want to see it twice to kind of understand
wrap your
what
mind
I saw.
around it. Yeah,
because it was a lot. It was like a lot. Of stuff. And I thought that the trailers did a great job of not revealing what the movie was actually about.
Absolutely.
Because I had no idea. You can kind of tell from the beginning that it's a sort of surreal. It's like a heightened reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know from the beginning that there's, what was the company called? Live Free?
Something like that.
But it was
Work Free or something.
Yeah. It's a company where you basically sign a lifelong contract, and they don't pay you a wage, but you live and eat and sleep in the same place where you work.
Yeah.
And so they house you and feed you and everything, and it's like being compared to like a modern form of slavery.
Right.
So that's a thing.
Yeah. Which is weird because like watching the movie, the way that idea is presented, since that's our first introduction to it being like a weird, surreal world.
not being like embedded in our reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the way that it's presented is such a unique kind of thing that it's really easy to buy into it as a premise, or buy into it as something that's like, wow, yeah, the way that they're presenting it, I could kind of see that being a thing.
I mean, yeah, kinda.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
Weird
yeah,
things are happening in real life.
totally. Oh yeah. But the way that the movie just paints such a vast picture of, you know, capitalism and working and trying to get ahead and being torn between two different things, like the whole pursuit of getting more money versus
being true to yourself
and helping your fellow man and everything. It was just really, really remarkable.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I came away from the movie thinking was that the movie does so many things. It throws so many different things at us.
It gives you a lot to think about.
Oh, yeah.
And to process.
Absolutely. And I feel like those, while it does have several different themes that it plays with, and that is kind of to its detriment, because like that second viewing, I did feel like it was dragging just a little bit. It was a little, felt a little long. But the way that it deals with all these different, themes and everything, it's like none of them feel like they're shortchanged or feel like they're underused. It's like every idea is presented clearly. It's just there's a lot of ideas in the movie. And that scene where, I've already talked about the movie, but on the podcast I just realized. But the scene where he is at Armie Hammer's house and they ask him to perform.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, first of all, it's so awkward.
Oh yeah.
It's and it's meant to make the audience feel awkward because he's, you know, besides Mr. Blank character, he's the only black guy there.
Yeah.
And he even says that he's not a rapper, like, you know, just because he's black doesn't mean he's good at that. And it's finally when he just throws repetitive words out, and the N-word just repeatedly, that's when they finally, like, that's when they get into it.
Yeah, in which that is such a ridiculous scene, but like I was like cracking up at it, but it's like, holy shit, this is like incredible, like satire. It's really, really strong.
Yeah.
God, it was really good.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, who played Cash, was amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I really...
He just had such a really specific hold of his character, down to like his body language and his expressions and everything.
Absolutely.
And the mastery of like, it just felt like he really embodied the character very, very well.
And also the way that he carried himself, like he slouches a lot.
Yeah. It's very distinct.
Yeah. And I'm like, I was just really impressed with the physicality, even as subtle as it was. Yeah. Like you could tell, like his performance, he really poured himself into that.
Yeah. And Tessa Thompson was very good.
Oh, she's
very
amazing.
Entertaining.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it gets to some weird things.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that without going into
totally unexpected. I had no idea that they were like gonna do something so weird. And I get that it's a way of dehumanizing the working poor, and it's commentary on, you know, today's socio-political situation and blah 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 blah. But it was it was just such a kind of a very literal take on I don't know, today's figurative situations. Yeah.
And maybe that presents a little bit of a disconnect with it.
Yeah.
Just because it is more, I guess, in your face with the satire and everything and the commentary that it's making, that while the other comments that the movie makes about capitalism and other things is really hit on the head really well. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to see it a third time to really get a good handle on it. But yeah, should we move on to another movie?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I do want to say how. Okay, yeah. So I did want to say this. So I randomly did something stupid and really, really Matt hurt of me. I took all of the episodes of the Obsessive Viewer and I put them into a playlist that I have that just happened to compile all of the runtime of all the episodes. And I realized that, basically, I don't know how far we are into this recording because I hit record 43 minutes ago, but I don't know how long into the actual recording of the episode we are. But around the 25-minute mark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to celebrate.
We were.
Aw.
So, yeah. But anyway.
Now we can't.
Now we can't. But anyway, around the 25-minute mark of this episode of the podcast, we will have hit, at the Obsessive Viewer, we will have hit 400 hours of podcast content out in the universe. And that is only for the Obsessive Viewer podcast. That's not including my other podcasts. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you going to go back and listen to all 400 hours?
I will probably die before then.
Well, I don't know if you increase the speed on your app that you listen to the podcast on, you can knock it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I plan on dying.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that's fine.
just do that instead.
I'll make sure that the podcast is playing at your funeral.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not invited.
Well, you don't really get a say.
Don't be a funeral crasher.
Watch me. Anyway, so sorry about that. So yeah, 400 hours. If you've listened to every episode of this podcast, I'm sorry. But yeah, very happy about that.
I love the confidence.
Yeah, here's the 400 more hours. So anything else we can really talk about with Sorry to Bother You? I know it's kind of brief, but there are other movies that I really want to talk to you about.
No, I think that's good. I think
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So the next movie is a big one.
A lot of people call me quiet or shy or whatever, but I'm not quiet.
Most quiet, Kayla Day.
I don't talk a lot at school, but if people talk to me and stuff, they'd find out that I'm really funny and cool and talkative. By the way, I like your shirt a lot. It's so cool. What?
One more week of 8th grade, huh?
Huh?
I said one more week of 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, huh?
This movie was technically we were supposed to record a review of it last week when we saw it.
Oh yeah,
8th Grade by Bill
yes.
Brigham. But you just happened to work at the state fair. that day.
I was exhausted,
and you were tired.
I was. Why did you just air quote that? I was tired.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I was exhausted. I was so mad at myself for making plans at all.
The first
it
thing
was such a struggle to get myself, because I had enough time to, when I got home, I was able to lay in bed for 10 minutes.
Jeez.
And that was enough time for me to get comfortable and for my muscles to reattach to my body. And I hated myself so much.
Yeah. The first thing you said when you got here that day was something like, why did I let you talk me into doing this? But yeah, anyway, we still had a great time. It was fun.
It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Now I will admit that I'm kind of a movie crier.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't cry too much in real life, but movies get me. Even if a scene is kind of sad, I will cry.
Yeah. Won't You Be My Neighbor? You teared up during that.
I did. Yeah. There are a lot of movies where I tear up.
Yeah.
I teared up. I saw Coco twice and I teared up both times, but this was a movie that I was sobbing.
You were.
I mean, I really, it hit me so hard.
And we've now seen 62 movies in the theater together. Keeping track there. That was the most emotional response I've ever seen you give out of a movie.
Yeah, it really hit me.
Yeah. Made me really uncomfortable.
That's fine.
But
made me uncomfortable too because I couldn't breathe through my nose.
I know. And the funny thing is that I was still going through a little bit of a cold.
So you were sniffling too, and it's kind of solidarity.
Oh, no, that's not where I was going with that. I did tear up quite a bit during the movie though, because my God.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I felt kind of bad because I had intended, because I got a drink at the concession. I had intended to bring in napkins because I didn't know like if I was gonna have to blow my nose or anything. So I felt bad because I could have had napkins, but I didn't think about it.
You were
So-
almost a gentleman,
Almost,
but not quite.
but gotta keep my
So
bad boy image in check.
sure. Are you wearing jorts today?
No, they're cargo shorts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cargorts.
cargorts. Yeah.
Anyway,
These are very nice.
you do own jorts, though.
I do. Yes, I have not worn them.
What a
in
bad
like a year.
boy.
I am
Okay, so Bo Burnham.
so bummed.
We are both fans of Bo Burnham.
Yes, I'm a latecomer of a fan.
Yeah.
We've watched his stand up together.
Yeah. I didn't follow him when he was like on YouTube.
Right.
But when he had his first Comedy Central Live, his 1 hour special, it was the day he turned 18.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't let him perform.
That's right.
Before that. So he scheduled it so that he had his first Comedy Central stand-up special on his 18th birthday. And that was the first time I saw him.
Okay.
Because I saw it on TV and I was like, this guy's amazing. And I looked him up and I like memorized all of his songs. And
Sure.
so that's been a big fan of his. I've seen him
Yeah.
live and I have his poetry book, Egghead. He signed it. Not a big deal. Super nice guy.
Nice.
But yeah, always been a huge fan of his. And I was really bummed when I learned that he was like not doing stand up anymore.
Right.
Cause it's his stand up is, it's amazing. It's
Oh,
so
it's
intelligent
incredible.
and poetic and weird and interesting. And
And the lights in it are just really good.
they're, are you talking about the movers?
Yes, the
LED
movers.
movers.
The LED movers,
Yeah,
yes.
they're pretty amazing. But yeah, he just has a performance that it's not typical and you don't see it anywhere else.
It transcends the stand-up
Yeah.
kind of genre of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It is a performance through and through.
Yeah, it's more performance art than
exactly.
anything.
And
but-
so personal and incredible.
Yeah. But after seeing this, I don't know what I want more of. Do I
Right.
want him to do more stand-up? Do I want him to do more movies? Because it was amazing. For his
Incredible.
first venture
Yes.
into writing and directing, it was remarkable.
Oh yeah. Like I've mentioned on the podcast and I've mentioned to you, which again, I appreciate you listening to me talk about this shit all the time
Yeah.
because
It ain't easy.
Right. I've been working on putting together my top 100 favorite movies.
Yeah.
And
The other day, Matt brought this up, and he was like, tell me if you're not interested, or tell me if you don't want to hear it. And I was like, I'm not interested. And he's like, okay, but well, and he kept going.
That is an exaggeration. You were very interested.
That is an exaggeration.
And also, you were in my car. I had
Yeah,
you
what could
trapped.
I do? We were
Exactly.
on the highway. I
Right.
couldn't even
So-
jump out.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Help me. Oh my god. Anyway.
Something is happening to his body. I think
So
that's,
anyway.
is that are you pubertying?
Jesus Christ.
Don't you bring the Lord into this. So 8th
You're
grade.
getting your blanket privileges taken away.
Don't.
So anyway.
So 8th grade.
8th grade.
I was worried at first because
were you? Okay. I was going to finish my thought. Sorry. Because I brought up the top 100.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, because I forget
I'm just
about
a
it.
guest here.
You have my blanket. I've been making my top 100 list, and it's weird because like coming out of the movie, I was like, okay, this is definitely going to be very close to the top of my top 10 of the year, but I think this might be on my top 100 also. Like, it was insanely good.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
Well, yeah, it was just it was getting such positive feedback, you know, and so everyone was saying it was amazing, it's phenomenal, it's an amazing movie, and I was a little worried that I wasn't going to like it as much as I wanted to.
Okay. Like, do you think
Just because I'm such a big fan of Bo Burnham's,
Okay.
you know, I was like, what if I don't like it? But
Right.
but I didn't have to worry about anything. It was really just as good as everyone has been saying.
it really
Yeah.
was?
Let's talk about Elsie Fisher.
Yes. Unbelievable
Yeah,
performance.
such a
Like,
sincere and earnest performance.
so Gucci.
It's good, Gucci. Yeah, I remember there was so much in that movie. We were talking about like I look back on like my Facebook posts,
Yes.
you know, and it's just so cringy, you know. I mean, I think we all have a little bit of Kayla in us.
Absolutely.
Kayla, who is Elsie Fisher's character in 8th grade, was horribly socially awkward. And she was trying so hard. She just wanted people to like her. And I remember being like that in middle
absolutely.
school. It was tough. I mean, watching the movie, it was like, my God, that, not all of it, but a lot of it was like, that was me.
Oh, absolutely.
That was me.
And that's one of the kind of concerns that I had going into it, was that I was afraid, like, okay, well, if this movie is about an 8th grade girl, like, even though it's written by, Bo Burnham and everything, I didn't know how much would resonate with me, because I've never been an 8th grade girl, or I've never been a teenage girl. But there are so many things in it, aside from
so many
gender,
jokes I could...
that are...
Go ahead.
Thank you. But it's so universal, like, regardless of gender, like it is so truthful to the experience of being, like, a middle school kid.
Yeah.
And, like, that's one of the things that I latched onto so early in the movie, is that I've done this. I've experienced this thing. Like, even something as simple as Kayla walking back and forth as she's on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, I did that. I paced back and forth anytime I was on the phone with anyone for any reason, because I was so uncomfortable with myself that it's just like when there was such a natural quality to the way she spoke. She was always stumbling over herself and interrupting herself, and it was just, she was so unsure of everything that came out of her mouth. And it was just very relatable. And I also loved her father. Yes, Josh Hamilton.
Oh my God. Now that, I don't want to, just the bonfire scene.
Yes.
Was the scene that really, really got to me. And I don't know what, I mean, I don't know. I don't have like any issues with my dad or anything, but it just, I don't know, just some of the stuff, like when she got into about, do I make you sad? Cause if I had a child like me, I would be sad about it, you know? And the way he professed to her about how much, he truly loves her, not just because she is his child, but because he thinks that she is such a wonderful person, and an interesting and creative person, and that he would love her even if she weren't his. It made me feel very emotional.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I that's one of the parts that I was like on the verge of tears with, because it's just so beautiful and magnificent,
but still written in a natural way that I it's not like, a lot of times you'll see like, heartfelt conversations, in movies, and it's like, but people don't really talk like that.
Right. Yeah.
But this, like, I could see a father and a daughter having a conversation just
absolutely.
like this.
Yeah. And then
it didn't feel forced or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the scene after that, which this is diving into spoilers a little bit, but the scene
just dipping our toe in.
Yeah.
Water's fine. Come on in.
The scene involving chicken nuggets.
Yeah. God, it was painfully
It was
awkward.
so painfully awkward.
Yeah, Gabe.
But it resonated with me because it is a scene in which these two people who aren't that comfortable, they're kids, and they're so uncomfortable in their own skin, or at least Kayla is. And it's just seeing her, at least specifically, going through all of this stuff in the movie, and then being able to relax and be herself a little bit, and like let her guard down and not be so preoccupied with her self-image or what people think of her, is like, because that's what every kid aspires to experience, like being comfortable in your own skin and like finding like your people that you want to be around and everything, because that's what being in public school is all about.
Yeah.
But it's just, it was so, it just resonated with me in a huge way.
And I'd never, the kid who played Gabe, I pulled up the cast list. Jake Ryan. I've never seen him in anything else, but so I don't know if how close to the character he is. But
that's a good question.
Good God, he was so good at playing that weird, awkward kid.
And I feel like weird, awkward, and maybe a little bit like on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and it's funny. I brought up you brought up how like Facebook memories and stuff. So I just loaded up my Facebook memories to see if there's anything cringy. Thankfully none.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Although, Jesus Christ, 10 years ago, Matt Hurt is supremely annoyed. 9:53 a.m. 10 years ago.
God, what happened?
Matt Hurt, 9:46. Oh, wait, these are reversed. But, like, is actually not at all surprised. Like, I have no idea. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway.
It's just a cry for attention.
It is. I don't...
But yeah, it was a truly amazing film. I remember being that age, and I cared so much what people thought of me.
Same here.
I mean, to a fault, like to my own damage. Like, I cared so much, and it was a tough time in my life. That was right after our house burned down.
Oh, right.
So I was going through a lot of stuff personally. At that time in my life, and so middle school was very hard for me because I felt like I didn't know who I was, like my identity like wasn't solidified.
Sure.
And by the time I got to high school, I stopped caring quite as much, and now I cared so much before that I haven't a fuck to give now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I ran out early.
Right.
So I don't know. It's hard to look back on that time in your life when you were so insecure, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird to think about. But he nailed it. But he nailed that feeling
so perfectly.
It wasn't just watching a film. It was like I was really experiencing these issues with Kayla.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like the way that it's presented, like throughout, like the structure of the movie, and like we get like very pivotal and even like fucking terrifying scenes that, like, the aftermath of that scene, which we'll talk about in spoilers. Yeah. The aftermath of a very pivotal scene in the movie is her like going home crying, like storming
through the house up to her room, and
then you see her dad come in to try to figure out what's going on and to comfort her, but like it's not played as a huge dramatic moment because it's all silent, and you only hear like the only sound is from a video that she makes on YouTube that's just about, oh my God, that's so sad, about like shutting down the YouTube channel and everything.
Because she doesn't have any followers.
Yeah.
They do one section where they pan over like her YouTube channel and all the videos
like
are like,
view, 0 views.
Yeah. So.
And then one of the things that really resonated with me was how, she makes that one video where she talks about how, she has a friend who, or her dad is trying to force her to be friends with someone, and she doesn't want to be friends, but then she realized that when she became friends with her, like basically she's telling a story from the perspective of one of the popular girls that it just like that was just, I don't know, it just, it was painfully beautiful to watch.
One part that also really got to me is when she watched the video from her time capsule.
Yes.
It was really just her expectations for middle school, and then like the reality of it by the end of it.
Yeah.
Were just so vastly different. It was really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that movie's so great. And I'm with you. I don't understand, or I don't know why, or I don't know what I want Bo Burnham to do.
Yeah, but I want him to do, he's got to, I mean, I can't wait for whatever he comes out with next.
Oh, same here.
Because I just know it's going to be brilliant.
And the guy is so fucking talented. Like, it'll be like a CD of him doing just banjo covers of like anime music,
and I'll buy 10 copies.
It'll be the most beautiful thing.
Whatever he
ever.
decides to do is just it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
he's just ridiculously talented.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we don't have a lot of talents like that.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Oh yeah. And like I came away from it thinking like, oh, he needs to make more movies. Like this is his thing. He needs to do this. But like the farther I get away from it, it's more like I hope he has more stories to tell.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I hope, because
this was clearly something that he had inside of him.
Right, absolutely.
That he needed to put out in the world.
Yeah.
And I hope there's something more. Oh God, I hope he's been tortured, you know.
Right, exactly.
And just needs to express it.
I saw a tweet or a comment or somewhere, I saw someone mention that, I think it was a review on Letterboxd, but someone said that they really hope that there is a, well, okay, I won't go into what it actually says, but basically Richard Linklater, who did Dazed and Confused and stuff, he has a trilogy of movies called the Before trilogy. Are you familiar with them at all?
I'm not, no.
Okay, so I haven't seen them. They are high on my list of movies to watch because I feel like they'll resonate with me a lot. But it's basically 3 movies filmed over the course of like, I think 10 years apart, each one. So the first movie is about a couple who meet, played by Ethan Hawke and I don't remember the woman, but they meet in the first movie, and then I think in the second movie it's 10 years later, and it was made 10 years later, so it's like them in the relationship, and then I think the last movie is like checking in on them 10 years later and what the status is of the relationship. It's called the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. But apparently it's like incredible, like, deep dive into like relationship drama and everything. But I saw a comment that said that they really hope that Bo Burnham makes like a Before trilogy where it's like, okay, this first movie is 8th grade, come back in like 4 or 5 years and do 12th grade. And then like later and see, like check in and see what she's like in college and everything, which that would be incredible.
I would like to see Elsie Fisher in more stuff.
Oh, me too. And she, like, I'm so happy. Like, I really can't wait to see how her career explodes.
Yeah.
Because this was, I mean, just a powerhouse performance.
Yeah. Well, and she's not, you know, a typical young female star, because she's traditionally not gorgeous.
Right.
You know, she's a little bit chubby. Mm-hmm. You know, her teeth are not perfect.
Right.
She has acne. Mm-hmm. And that is one thing that I appreciate so much is that the teenagers look like teenagers.
Yeah.
You know, so many times you'll, you know.
Like, we talked about this with A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah. She was a very pretty girl who was, you know, you put glasses on her and now she's a nerd.
Right.
You know, but all too often you see movies or TV shows about teenagers, and it's one thing if they're queerly adults playing, you know, teenagers, but they're also like always ridiculously gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, this was a great film because they all looked like teenagers.
They really did. And it was,
even like the really popular girls, they still looked like teenage girls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just the world, like we existed in that movie. Like watching the movie is, we existed in that world, in that universe that he created. And it's so, oh God, it was so good.
It was so immersive.
Yes.
That you felt like you were really there.
Yep. It
was lit.
Yeah, it was lit AF.
Mm-hmm. Shall we talk spoilers?
We shall. We just did a spoiler review for 8th grade that's going to appear later in the podcast, so check the timestamps for it. Now we're going to go into a review of BlacKkKlansman, the new Spike Lee movie. So enjoy.
The KKK is planning an attack.
How do you propose to make this investigation?
We'll establish contact over the phone. We'll need a white officer to play me when they meet face to face.
You for the white race, Ron?
Oh, hell yeah.
So there becomes a combined Ron Stalwart.
Can you do that?
With the right white man, we can do anything.
Okay, because it's 10:30.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Okay, so we saw BlacKkKlansman today.
Really good film.
Yeah, Spike Lee's new movie about Ron Stallworth, the true story of Ron Stallworth, Colorado Springs.
I had no idea it was based on a book.
Yeah, same here.
So I knew that it was based on a true story, but I didn't know it was based on a book by Ron Stallworth.
Right,
So
and I have that on
really
my
interesting.
Audible wish list.
Yeah.
But him going undercover to infiltrate the KKK. And
Oh my God! I'm sorry. The guy who played Jimmy. At first, I thought it was Steve Buscemi.
I did too.
But then, because we kind of saw him from an angle at first, and I was like, "Oh, that's not Steve Buscemi. It's Michael Buscemi."
Oh wow! Okay.
So obviously, there must be some sort of relation there.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. That was
Nice.
just interesting.
But it had who played Ron Stallworth?
John David Washington.
John David Washington. I don't know if I've seen him in anything.
Yeah,
but he was great.
He looked a little familiar, but I wouldn't be able to pinpoint what I had seen him in. He was very good, very funny. And Adam Driver.
Yeah.
And Topher Grace.
Right.
Who I thought was the perfect choice. I mentioned this to you, the perfect choice to play David Duke.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
He was the charming, well-spoken, the guy you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And it's the one character.
He had charisma. He was charismatic.
Yeah. The character Felix, who was the uneducated redneck that you're afraid of.
Right.
Like that's the racist down the street.
The violent one.
But you really need to be afraid of the David Dukes.
Right. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the charming guys who can talk you into believing in them. And I thought Topher Grace did a great job of portraying that.
He really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen John David Washington in anything, but yeah, you have a strange connection to Adam Driver, right?
Yeah, I do. Nice segue.
Yes, thank you. I was going to actually say, do you want me to? I'm gonna tell the joke that I told you when we saw a preview with him a couple weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
Obviously,
remember? It made an impression.
Yeah. Well, okay, because Adam Driver was on the screen. I think it was for BlacKkKlansman. It was a trailer, and I nudged you and I said, not a lot of people know this, but before he was. He didn't become Adam Driver until he was 16. He was Adam Bicycle Rider.
And it is just as funny now as it was then.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so your connection to Adam Driver.
Adam Driver went to the same university that I went to. And we did not go there at the same time.
Right.
He transferred to Juilliard the year before I started. So if he had graduated from the university, we would have been there at the same time. But as it turned out, we were not. Now, we have several mutual friends. I have several of my friends from school are like really good friends with him.
Nice.
And I've met him a couple times through.
A couple times. Interesting.
Yeah, at parties and stuff. Like when he would, come to town and hang out with his old buddies. Like we would have theater parties, theater kids party it up. You wouldn't believe it.
Sure.
Cast parties are a thing of legend.
I believe you.
There's an SNL skit called Crucible Cast Party.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Okay.
It's about a high school production of The Crucible, which I think every high school is like contractually obligated to do at some point. And it's Crucible Cast Party. It's check it out. It's a good bit.
Okay.
But yeah, so I met him a couple times. And he seemed nice. Very quiet guy. But I never really pegged him as someone who would end up being like big Hollywood famous actor, but like now he is, so that's pretty cool.
I remember, this is a weird thing to remember, a weird detail to remember, but I think it was when you and I saw Mike Birbiglia. You were telling me about like seeing Adam, like meeting Adam Driver, or maybe it was a different time that you told me this, but you mentioned that your cousin, when you told your cousin about it, he or she said Kylo Ren touched these hands.
Yeah. My cousin Hayden, who is like 11, loves Star Wars. In fact, he has a sister, Ava, who is 5 or 6, and they almost named her Leia.
Oh, wow.
For Hayden.
Wow.
Because he is such
That's awesome.
He's such a huge fan of Star Wars, and so when they came out, I was I babysat my cousins for a couple months for my uncle.
Right.
Not like for a couple months, like I had them for a couple months.
Right,
like
right.
I was, for a couple months, I would every now and then go and babysit. Yeah. And so I was like, oh hey, bragging because he was talking about the new Star Wars movies, and I was like, I have met Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren touched these hands, and it was like the coolest thing.
Nice.
To 11-year-old Hayden. So yeah.
And then now you can say, I've been on a podcast.
And he will not think I'm cool at all and will say, I never want you to babysit me again.
Well, that's...
And that's how that will go.
Well, have him listen to 400 hours of podcasts.
I will.
And yeah.
I'll have him do that.
So, BlacKkKlansman.
Yeah.
Really, I need to go back and watch more Spike Lee movies, because I haven't really watched that many of his movies. I saw, like, Summer of Sam, but I haven't seen... like the big ones, like Do the Right Thing is a huge one, and a bunch of other ones. Yeah, but like this movie, I was into it. Like I enjoyed it quite a bit. Some of the editing was a little off. Like there was a lot of like double takes of things. I don't know if that's a staple of his filmmaking, but like there'll be a shot of someone hugging someone, and then for, I guess, dramatic effect, it'll cut to a different take of them hugging. Or not
I know what you're talking
but a different
about.
angle.
Yeah.
So it's just some of that's a little, it wasn't anything that was too detrimental to me for the movie.
But you noticed it.
I noticed it, yeah. But yeah, Topher Grace was amazing as David Duke.
Yeah.
And I loved the way that the movie tied into the present day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I'm sure a lot of people know, the slogan "America First" that President Donald Trump loves to throw out there is a Klan slogan.
Yep.
And they are not shy about using it in the movie. It's very relevant. They talk about how David Duke wants to. He's turning the Klan into an avenue for politics,
right? And
how he doesn't want to be referred to as the Grand Wizard. He's national director,
right?
And how they need someone in the White House, and Ron Stallworth is like he's
That'll
talking to
happen.
one of his fellow officers, and he's like, well, that we'll never have someone like that in the White House. And the other guy's like, as a black man, you shouldn't be so naive,
right? And
it's just very telling.
Yeah,
it's very referential to today.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we won't. I mean, I guess we won't really go into spoilers about it right now. But the way that it incorporated footage at the end of the movie to kind of bring home the theme of the movie and the message of the movie and how it tied together with today was just.
It was very good cinematically.
Yeah, I was gobsmacked by it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, because the movie from beginning to end is a very entertaining, like slightly
kind of slapstick take on.
Kind
it's
of
like these bumbling Klan members. Who was our favorite guy?
Right,
Paul Walter was in it.
Yeah. What else was he
Paul
in
Walter
recently?
Hauser. He was in I, Tonya.
And
we've seen him in something else because every now and then he'll be in something, and I'm like, oh, it's the guy from I, Tonya.
And every time I'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice. Because what was his name again?
What's he? Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh, there he is. Let's see.
Oh no.
Oh, he was in Super Troopers too.
Oh yeah. That was the other thing we saw that he was in.
But yeah, the movie is so kind of entertaining in a weird way.
So kind of entertaining. Tell me more.
But it's I'll just say this: Tiny never gives me shit for that. But
we'll have Tiny on.
Well, I just thought it anyway. So yeah, it like what I'm saying is it is an entertaining movie, and its energy is so based in kind of comedic elements and comedy that when it ties together to real world events, showing footage of real world events.
Yeah, it's very jarring.
It's very jarring in like the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because like, when Trump got elected, I remember Mike posting a Facebook update saying something like, it was like when everyone was super, devastated by the election. He said one thing that has stuck with me since that night to now, that he was curious of what impact the election and the Trump presidency would have on art. And like, it's something I think about all the time. Like the whole, Steven Spielberg making The Post and connecting that to Trump and everything is like, it's just interesting that we get these movies.
Yeah. That are queer responses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if, I wouldn't say that it's made it worth it at all. Like, no, get them the fuck out of there. But it's still interesting that we have these pieces of art.
Yeah.
That are coming out, that are, like in the case of BlacKkKlansman, that are really profound and just really just in that final image. We'll have to do a spoiler section, but that final image was just like chilling to me.
Yeah.
Just really, really strong. So what'd you think of like the performances and stuff?
Really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen John David Washington in anything, but I would be really interested in seeing him again.
Absolutely.
He was very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Very good performance. Also, Laura Harrier, who played Patrice,
Oh, yeah, she was good.
was really good. And again, I can't think of anything. She looks so familiar.
Yeah.
But I can't think of what I've seen her in.
And the woman that played Connie was almost over the top.
Ashley Atkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, especially during the scene where they were watching the movie.
Birth of a Nation. Yes.
Her reactions were like almost to the point where it was unbelievable.
Yeah. I kind of cracked up at that.
It's like a little over the top racism.
Sure.
And maybe it was, I mean, obviously it was written that way to make a point.
Right.
But it seemed
It was over the top.
A little over the top there, Connie.
I did appreciate it though, just because any comedy, any comedic. Is that real or making fun of me?
No, it was a yawn.
Oh, interesting. But any kind of comedic take on people yelling during movies is going to resonate with me, even if it's a horrible context. So yeah, it's almost 11. We should start wrapping this up, really.
So, the spoiler review?
Yeah, spoiler review.
I don't think we'll have much to say.
We really won't. Okay, we just did a spoiler review for BlacKkKlansman. You can find that later in the podcast. Check the timestamps for it, or just continue listening. So we're going to talk about some movies that are coming up that we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So Elephant in the Room, though, you have a show opening. So that's going to wreak havoc on our movie watching.
Well, not for too long.
It's going to be...
The show runs like a week and a half, so...
It does.
Not that big of a deal.
Is it, though?
No.
Just... So, yeah. So anyway, movies that are coming out.
Yeah. The first one that popped up is The Meg.
Which is out now.
Which I kind of want to see.
I do too.
It looks like a big, dumb, fun movie.
It really does. And
Rainn Wilson is in it.
Right.
Which will be fun.
Mm-hmm. Jason Statham doing his thing.
I love a good, disaster movie.
Me too.
I will say this. I feel bad for sharks, because sharks get, shut up! Sharks get, such a bad rap.
Sure.
After Jaws came out, someone did, a study, sharks were being killed, at a much higher rate than they had been before, because there was, all this shark panic.
Right, right.
And I feel like this is perpetuating that, and people see sharks as big old bad guys when they're really not.
Yeah.
So I'll say it. I feel bad for the sharks.
Wow. I was just going to ask you if you've ever seen Jaws, but we actually saw Jaws together.
We did, yeah.
That was actually the first movie we saw together.
Was it?
It was.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Yep. And I remember you told me that Robin Williams story. And yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that looks good. I'm excited for that. Let's talk about this real quick. We were trying to make plans with your sister to see The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Which looks really good. Yeah, she's not going to be able to go tomorrow.
She bailed on it.
So I think, but yeah, I would still like to see it.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to go the 4 showing? Yeah. Do you want to get tickets now while we're on the podcast?
No.
Oh.
You need to calm down.
I thought it would be a fun peek behind the curtain for the listeners.
Fine, I'll
but
click on it. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. You're trying to sabotage
tomorrow, the 12th.
Everything.
We'll hang out on my end of town. There's a 4:15.
4:15
for premium zone.
Yes, smaller theater. Interesting. G6
well,
and G5?
It's been out for like a week.
It has. That's true.
So maybe that's it.
G6 and G5.
Yeah, I'll get G6.
I kind of want G6.
Don't do this again.
Okay, because this is something.
Why don't we get G6 and G7? They're closer to the middle.
Okay, sure. I'll get G7.
Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I like to sit toward the middle.
So do I. You got G6?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting G7.
Because I didn't realize this until I had Mike on the podcast a few weeks ago. He talked about how he does movie night with his friend Jake, and he's very particular about like sitting at a specific on a specific side from the person he's seeing the movie with. And I didn't realize this, but like pretty much every single time
I always sit on the right.
Yeah. And so the last couple times where I've kind of panicked thinking like, oh no, I want this one, it's because I accidentally said the one that's on your right. So
I don't care too much.
I do.
Do you?
No.
Oh. Payment is going through.
Mine is confirmed. Which I'm surprised you haven't
there we go.
Sprung for A-list yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't put much thought into it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, we'll be at...
Yeah, so we're going to see The Spy Who Dumped Me tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
It looks really funny.
It does.
Yeah.
I've heard some kind of mixed things about it. The writer and I think director too, she made a movie called, I think, Life Partners that I watched on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And just, it was really good.
Yeah.
It's about two, best friends who one gets into a relationship. Susanna Fogel is the filmmaker's name. But yeah, it was Life Partners. It's on Hulu. It's Sasha and Paige's codependent friendship is tested as Paige gets serious with a guy for the first time. And just, I was really, really impressed with it. But yeah, it's on Hulu. Check it out if you haven't. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. We're going to see that tomorrow.
The Happy Time Murders?
Yeah.
That looks pretty interesting.
I don't know anything about it.
I saw, I was watching something on YouTube or something, and I saw an ad for it. I actually thought it was a TV series.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm just now finding out now that it's a movie. But it looks interesting.
Nice.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
The Little Stranger, which we saw a trailer for
today.
we've seen 2 trailers for it.
Yeah.
That looks so compelling to me.
It does.
It looks
Because,
really
and I
interesting.
told you this before, I've seen it a couple times now, and I don't know what the fuck's going on in it, so.
Yeah, but whatever it is, looks good.
Yeah. Crazy Rich Asians.
Which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I actually already have a ticket for that, but if you want to see it with me.
Oh my god, Cowboy Bebop the movie? They're going to be showing Cowboy Bebop the movie? It's anime, so you don't care.
Yeah.
I loved Cowboy Bebop. It's one of the best animes.
Is it?
Fight me on this.
I've heard.
It is one of the best animes that's ever been made.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
And, I think I own the Cowboy Bebop movie, actually.
Wow.
It's really good.
Searching with John Cho.
Oh,
looking for his daughter.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
That does look good.
We've seen the trailer for this a couple times, but Axel.
I'm not interested in seeing that. Why would you bring it up?
I just to get your read on it.
I really don't want to see that.
Because here's the thing. Since I got A-list now, since we see movies all the time.
You're seeing all the reject movies.
Yes. And then also I'm in my head, I'm like, oh wait, did Kyrsten say she wanted to see this? Because I don't want to see a movie. I don't want to Sorry to Bother You.
Which you
again.
saw without me, and then you
did.
had to go see it again because I wanted to see it.
Exactly. Let's see. Do you have any interest in seeing The Predator?
No.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'll see that by myself then. Have you seen the trailer for A Simple Favor?
I don't think so.
It's directed by Paul Feig, who did Bridesmaids and a bunch of other comedies. But it's about Stephanie, a mommy vlogger who seeks to uncover the truth behind her best friend Emily's sudden disappearance from their small town.
I don't think I've heard about this.
The trailer looks really interesting, and I'm very interested in it because it's a straight up suspense movie, but it's directed by Paul Feig, which is so weird because it's funny to me because I'm excited to see a suspenseful, dramatic movie made by Paul Feig, who is a guy who I read his memoir of being
Memoir?
Memoir. Did I mispronounce that?
Yeah.
Memoir.
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 Are you serious?
Yeah. Memoir.
Memoir?
Memoir. Which is the right way? Memoir. A book he wrote.
Memoir.
Memoir.
Yeah.
Memoir. Okay.
Yes.
Have I ever told you the aesthetic story?
No, I'm guessing you didn't know how to pronounce aesthetic.
Yep. For the first, I want to say, probably 25 to 30 episodes of the podcast, anytime that word came up, I said aesthetic.
And no one corrected you?
No one corrected me until like 20
I did it
or 30.
immediately.
Oh, yeah, right?
Memoir.
Memoir. Anyway,
we all have like gaps like that.
Yeah.
I remember being a child, and it was in a Goosebumps book. What did you guess?
Because I
was a child.
I just remembered something that John and Jasmine told me that I'm gonna call you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I remember reading the word annihilation.
Oh, interesting.
And I had never connected seeing the word and hearing it out loud.
Okay.
I thought it was annihilation. Because that's what it looks like.
That's adorable.
But like, it was in a Goosebumps book, and it was over and over. Like the word was used repeatedly in like this one chapter or something, and I thought it was annihilation, and I looked it up because I was like, "What is this word? I don't know what this." I was a nerd. I like to look up words that I didn't recognize, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's annihilation."
Oh,
so
yeah. Were you big into Goosebumps?
I really enjoyed the Pick Your Own Adventures, the Choose Your Own Adventures ones.
Okay. I think we've talked about it.
I mean, I've read a lot. I read a lot of Goosebumps books when I was a kid, but the ones that I really remember are the Choose Your Own Adventure ones.
Right.
I really liked those.
I remember telling you that I won like third place or something in the writing contest.
Yeah,
not to brag. But we were supposed to swap stories because you wrote a story.
Oh yeah,
the magic necklace.
The magical necklace.
The magical necklace.
I was in 5th grade.
Yes,
and it was part of the young authors. Program or young authors competition or something.
Sure.
And my book ended up being chosen, and it was like published and stuff.
Look at you.
Yeah. You remind me next time I'm going to come over.
Yes.
Remind me, and I will grab it.
Yes, please.
Because I will do that. I've never remembered. But if for months now, I've been telling you that I will show you this book, and I did full illustrations and everything. And
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was proud of it when I was 10.
Yeah. Well, I was proud of my story. It was called Something Evil, Something Cruel. Yeah, had a twist ending, just so you know. Anyway,
really, my story is just Mulan, but set with a frame of Native Americans.
Okay.
So that's what it was. But in my defense, I don't remember having seen Mulan before. I mean, I'm sure I had because I didn't come up with this. You invented Mulan. I didn't come up with this idea out of nowhere, but in my childhood mind, like, I came up with this idea.
Sure. Anyway.
One movie that I didn't see on the AMC like coming soon list is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yeah, I don't think that. I think that's
it's not coming out until like November. But I really want to see that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. There's also the movie Juliet Naked.
Ooh.
Which is
about Juliet being naked.
No.
It's not?
No.
Oh. The title is misleading.
Then. It is. Yeah. Oh, I've written so many letters. Believe me. In the new comedy Juliet Naked, Duncan, played by Chris O'Dowd, is an obsessive fan of cult rock musician Tucker Crowe, played by Ethan Hawke.
Chris O'Dowd?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From IT Crowd?
Yeah, I love him.
Much to the chagrin of his longtime girlfriend, Annie, played by Rose Byrne. One night after Annie unleashes an online tirade about the annoyances of rock fandom, Tucker himself unexpectedly enters their lives, bringing along his highly complicated personal life. I saw a trailer for it recently, and it looks really good. And that's called Juliet Naked.
I love the IT Crowd.
Me too.
Such a good show.
Oh yeah.
Damn these electric sex pants.
I need to watch it again.
That's a bit from the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's time to wrap this puppy up.
I think it's time to kick you out of my apartment.
Yeah.
So once again, where can people find you on the internet? We didn't talk about it. We didn't say it at the top.
I'm on Twitter. You can follow me at burger_lurker. I remembered the underscore this time.
Nice.
Are you impressed?
No.
Good, because it's not impressive.
Okay. I was going to be polite and say yes, so.
Don't bother.
Okay, good. Good. And then again, check out Kyrsten at Indie Fringe Festival.
Yeah, if you go to indiefringe.org, you can pull up the festival schedule. I'll be in a show called The Pope Walks Into a Bar, Father Ned. We open this Friday.
Yep. Nice. And I will be there Sunday, the 19th at 7:30. So, gonna give you the Obsessive viewer bump. All two of you listening, go see her show Sunday.
And one of them is me.
Right.
And the other one is you. Thanks for bumping me, Matt.
You are welcome.
I appreciate it. Has a woman ever said that to you before?
No comments, but I am glad that I have it recorded.
He said no.
Okay.
Pizza's getting distressed. We should...
She is. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Shall we talk spoilers?
We shall. Yes. I don't know how I'm going to cut this because I'll probably... Okay. We are going to have a spoiler discussion about 8th grade.
One more week of 8th grade, huh? I said one more week of 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So, the car scene.
Yeah. Now, I was once a teenage girl who had to put up with guys and unwanted advances. I think I told you about when I was in middle school. I would have been in 8th grade. There was this kid who would not leave me alone. Yeah. He did all kinds of weird stuff.
Are you okay with sharing this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's fine.
Okay.
But he would draw naked pictures of me and tell all of his friends in art class, yeah, she let me see her naked, and that's how I know to draw her naked. And it's that's
Good
ridiculous.
God.
But I was staying after school one day, and he stayed after to I don't know what to try and talk to me or whatever.
Right.
But I didn't want to talk to him, and so I went into the women's restroom, and he followed me in there, and I was terrified because I didn't know what to,
Right.
that was my last ditch effort to get away from him. I didn't know.
Was
what to
he
do.
in the same grade as you, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We were in the same grade. But luckily there was a girl in one of the stalls, and she came out, and he was he wouldn't let me leave. He was harassing me, and she punched him in the face, and he ran off, and I ended up, we had to get a restraining order against him, and it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
And he ended up transferring to a different school. And that's the worst,
Yeah.
situation that I've had, but there have been plenty of other times where, as growing up as a woman, I remember being 14 and walking home from the bus stop and grown men stopping and trying to pick me up.
Yeah.
And that was a very similar situation.
Right.
She was an 8th grade student, and this was a kid in high school. Old enough to drive.
Yeah.
So 16, 17. They were seniors. They were
They
seniors.
were
So
seniors,
he was either 17 or 18.
Yeah. Oh God, that makes it.
And we
None
both,
of it makes it okay, but
we
it
both
makes it
knew
so much
what
worse.
was happening. The second that
Yeah.
scene started, and the one Olivia
Yeah.
is
Who was such a hero in the movie.
she was a champion.
Yes.
But I didn't want her to leave Kayla alone.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. And she didn't want to. She was like, well,
Right.
why don't we go drop off Kayla and then we can swing back? And he's like, but you're right here. And Kayla, so sweet and innocent, is like, oh, it's fine,
Yeah.
And then she's sitting in the back, and the dude pulls over, and it's just it was, we knew what
Horrible.
the two of us we knew, we were vocalizing
Oh yeah.
because we knew what was happening.
We were harmonizing our cringe.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it
Felt
was
so bad for her.
It was, and it's so. it felt so real too. Like, I've never been in that position. I've never been in that position or anything either side of it.
I would
really.
wager to say that every woman has been in that position.
I wouldn't.
No matter, what your demographic is.
Yeah, I wouldn't dispute that. I'm sure that that's the case, but just it just felt so, because by that time we're already accustomed to Kayla's personality, her experience and everything. And so this kind of comes, I didn't expect anything like that to be in the movie, like at all. I just expected it to be, I just didn't expect anything that deep. And I respect the hell out of Bo Burnham for putting that in the movie, because it was needed, really. Yeah. But I just felt so, the way that the movie communicates, just the lack of knowing what to do.
Yes.
In that. Like,
yeah.
And like we had a conversation about it on the way back from the theater, that and I'll let you talk about it more, but like, it's at an age where, you're taught to be polite to people.
Yeah.
And like, she's at an age where she recognizes that it's wrong.
Yeah.
For him to try to coerce her into.
But what is she going to do?
Yeah.
He's the cool older guy. He's best friends with Olivia, who she looks up to so much.
Yep.
But yeah, as I feel like, especially as young girls, we are taught to be nice and polite all the time, and kind of deferential.
Yeah.
To men. I mean, that's just not so much in today's day and age, but that's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And the way that she, I mean, when she finally like yells at him no and pushes him away, she immediately says sorry. And that's just like so painfully relatable. I remember apologizing to guys for turning them down, and God, the way he reacted, he's like, oh, you're gonna hook up with some guy and you're not gonna know what to do, and I was just trying to help you out. Like that's a thing that guys do.
Oh yeah, like the way, I think what he actually, like his full statement is what, like, in addition to all that, is that now your first time is going to be with some asshole. And it's like, when it's so fucked up and so manipulative.
Yes.
But it's presented in such a way that, like, the actor playing what was his name again? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But the actor playing him, the way that he delivers it's such an authentic way, because it is manipulative. He is a predator. It is predatory behavior. But he truly believes it. He truly believes it.
Yeah.
He truly believes that he's okay.
Yeah.
And that idea is seeded to us earlier when they're in the food court, and they're talking about how, like, they're
one of the characters on like Twitter or something, or an Instagram, a guy was asking for pictures of her feet.
Oh yeah,
and she's saying like how creepy that is, and the two guys are like, "What are you talking? Like, it's flattering.
It's flattering. Yeah,
he's just being nice." And it's like, he's asking for pictures of her feet.
Right? No. He's sending her pictures of her feet that he cropped out.
It's even worse. It's even worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he took full body pictures that she has posted, and just cropped out her feet and sent the pictures of her feet to her.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, it's creepy and it's weird, and they're like, he's just being polite.
Yeah.
It's like, it's clear that these kids have never like been taught like what respect is.
Right.
And
exactly.
And the proper way to communicate with women.
Exactly. And it's oh god damn it. And
it's just the entitlement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that scene is painful but necessary.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just really, really powerful.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
And then when he drops her off, she's like, I'm really sorry about this, and I know you were just trying to help me out.
Yeah.
And I just felt so bad for her. Just, I know that Kayla in this world in 6 or 7 years is going to look back on this moment and think, why did I ever feel like I had to apologize for that?
Yeah.
And that'll be, I know it's a fictional character, but I'm looking forward to the moment when Kayla realizes that she doesn't have to be sorry for saying no to a guy.
Absolutely.
Because we're taught to. It's ridiculous,
Right.
but we are taught that men don't get no. They don't have to take no
Right.
for an answer.
Yeah.
That's how you get Brock Turners in the world. And thank God he lost his appeal.
Right.
And he'll
Yeah.
continue to have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.
Oh,
Amen.
God. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so 8th grade. I also really liked at the end of the movie, she filmed another
that was so,
video for herself.
The whole thing about her doing the time capsule
Yeah.
for high school.
It starts out very pessimistic.
Yeah.
The first time she's looking at the time capsule, none of it is she doesn't look at it as a positive thing.
Right.
Because she's had such a negative experience.
Exactly.
In middle school. She doesn't have any friends.
Right.
That's why she's so overjoyed to hang out with and impress Olivia and her friends.
Right. Oh yeah.
But that's why I was so happy that she made another time capsule video for herself for the end of high school.
Yeah.
Because it just shows that, after everything she has been through, she's not giving up.
Yeah, and she does it on her own. Like her and her dad are bearing it and everything. It just feels like she's finally comfortable with herself.
Yeah.
At least
or
to
getting
an
there.
extent. Getting there, yeah. And I started to tear up quite a bit when you see the montage of her doing that and then it playing and everything, and you see that in it she has a picture of her dad.
Yeah.
And that's it's so that was so beautiful.
I felt so bad for her dad in the beginning of the movie because he was trying so hard to connect with her. And she just was being very typical teenager and not wanting anything to do with her dad. And they finally have that great scene where she decides she wants to burn the time capsule, her box with all the stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny scene because she's like, "Will you help me burn something?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And it was that's a really touching scene.
Oh yeah. Were you ever the that type of teenager that just ignored her parents and stuff?
No.
Okay.
I never really went through a phase like that.
Okay.
I never had a rebellious phase or an angsty teenage phase. I've always had a really good relationship with my parents.
Yeah.
I've always been very close with them. But I never did the whole teenage thing, sneaking out and drinking underage.
Sure.
I never did stuff
That's
like that.
right. Yeah, you gave me shit because I told you that I drank in high school.
Tisk, Matthew.
Yes.
Kill those brain cells early.
Well, there wasn't a lot there to begin with.
But no, I never went through that phase.
Okay.
Good. I mean, I would get mad at my parents, but,
right.
But I never, we've always had a good relationship.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I won't answer the question. Myself.
Does your mom listen to the podcast?
No, she doesn't. But she doesn't know what podcasts are, to be honest.
Hey, Sandy, are you out there? Are you listening right now?
Oh, you remembered her name.
Because that's my boss's name, too. Because we had that conversation. I was like, what if your mom was my boss? And,
that's right, yeah.
But she's not.
Oh, well, yeah. Hi, Robin. See, I can do it, too.
That's my mom.
Yeah. Anyway. But no, I was an asshole as a teenager.
Were you?
I was.
Why? What's the point of that?
It's just, I don't know. I really don't know. And I cringe so hard.
Yeah.
When I think about it, because I was if I went somewhere with my mom or something, I would have headphones on and listen to music.
Oh, what?
I regret that. I regret it so much. And I'm so glad that I have a good relationship with my mom, and I had a good relationship with my dad before he passed away. But God, I went through that, and it's that, those scenes with her and her dad were just they got to me.
The scene where she is at the mall with Olivia and her friends, and she finds out that her dad is there, and he's keeping an eye on her.
Right.
And then she storms off, and he's trying to apologize. I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
Because I know that he wasn't doing it to be weird or be creepy.
Right.
He just I really honestly feel like he was so proud that his daughter finally had friends.
Oh yeah, I didn't read it that way. That's
wanted to make sure that she was okay, but also I do think a lot of it was just that he was just so happy, that she finally had made a friend.
Right.
I mean I get the impression that was the first time she had been invited out. You know.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a big deal was made of
Right.
when she went to her dad and was like, "Can I go to the mall with some friends?"
Mm-hmm.
He seemed really shocked.
Right.
It was just, I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah, me too. And I love the writing of that character. And
Yeah.
Josh Hamilton was amazing in
He
it.
was.
But it's incredible because he's such a great dad in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't get angry with her. He doesn't lash out at her for being distant and everything.
Yeah.
It's like he tries so hard throughout the whole movie. And like,
they have their reconciliation at the end.
Oh,
they
yeah.
do. But yeah, it was watching it. It was very heartbreaking to
Right.
see him try so hard repeatedly to reach his daughter. And
yeah. And he still like gives her, does he give her money for something? Yeah.
Yeah. When after, I know I embarrassed you. Dads are weird sometimes. They do weird dad stuff. And he was like, well, here's some money. Make sure and get yourself something, because she was out at the mall.
Right.
It was like $40 or something that he tried to hand to her, and she wouldn't even take it. And he's like, I'm just going to leave it right here. And he put it on the bench of the seat right next to her.
God.
And then left. And I felt so bad for him.
Me too.
Because he was really trying very, very hard. Just in the way that she was trying very, very hard.
Right. Oh,
to be
totally.
accepted by her peers.
Oh, absolutely.
He just was trying very hard to be accepted by his daughter.
Exactly. God.
It was just really good.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
And the whole use of YouTube and everything, like, it just, I loved how that correlated to her story and how, it's just, I don't know, because it is her creative output. She's trying to do something creative.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's when she's herself to an extent, because she does kind of present herself in a different way. It's like her presenting who she wants to be to the world. Yeah. And like, that resonated with me so much, just because like, in high school, I had a live journal. It's gone now. It's gone. It's scrubbed from the internet, so don't go looking for it. I think I actually maybe mentioned this on the podcast, like in the very, very early days. But I had like a live journal, and like that was my creative output. That was like I would recount my day and everything.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was bad. Oh yeah.
I had a Zanga account.
Wow.
Where I no one gives a shit about your day.
Right. Oh yeah.
When you're 13, 14 years old.
Yep.
No one cares.
No one.
What audience did I think I was reaching?
How did you write your post? Was it like, did you like write like about your day, or was it like anything like quizzes and stuff, or?
Mostly about my day, but
Okay.
I did some other stuff too.
Okay.
But mostly it was like a public journal.
Okay. See, that's how
And
my
it
live
just-
journal was.
Yep.
Yep.
You know?
You
know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. I wrote a lot of words every post about my day and stuff, and like I would.
And who cares?
No one.
No one cared.
And it was. I will give you this one tidbit that makes me cringe.
Yeah.
So bad, because I think the idea was that I was chronicling my life throughout high school as like for posterity. Like the idea, like, oh, maybe someday I'll have kids or something.
Oh God.
And they'll read it and
They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't. But then, so I was in high school from 2001 to 2005. I wrote a post on September 11th. And the first sentence of it was, so today's been a really weird day for me.
Huh.
Because I was that, I don't know, neurotic and self-centered. So, yeah. For the listeners, Kyrsten is giving me a very disgusted look.
That would be because I am disgusted.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it's just
yeah. Yep. That was 15-year-old Matt. Yeah. To be fair, though, 9/11
Was it a really weird day for you?
9/11 was a really weird day for me. I was on I was the manager of the football team. I didn't play.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
So you were the water boy.
Well, no, I was the cone boy. and I also
worse.
gave water. Well, I was gonna play football, but then I got when I went to get a physical, I had a heart murmur that I asked the doctor, like, so does that mean I can't play football? And then he said,
no, you could still play. And you're like, but I shouldn't.
Exactly right.
Okay, cadet bone spurs.
So anyway, wait, what?
Cadet bone spurs.
Oh, cadet bone spurs. Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Our president. I'm comparing you to.
Well, yeah. Very stable genius. But anyway, so it was a weird day for me because the west side of Indianapolis is near the airport, and like I would daydream when the team was practicing and stuff, and like I thought it was weird, like, oh, there are no planes anywhere in the sky. So that was it.
What time was football practice?
It was like 4:30 or like right after school because they'd shut down, like they grounded all flights for the whole day.
Yeah, I know, but like you're like, did you know that 9/11 had happened?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah,
because you're like, it's weird that there are no flights. I'm like, it was like in the morning.
It just felt weird since I noticed that there were no planes.
okay.
Like I never noticed like, oh, there are planes flying overhead. But like that day,
but the absence of them was noticeable.
Yeah. Yep.
I was in 5th grade.
Wow. What was tell me about your 9/11.
Yeah. What an odd episode this has become.
I know.
Yeah, I was in Mrs. Steele's English class, and the way it was set up was we had half of the class was before lunch, and then the second half of the class was after.
Okay.
So, I remember coming into, it was like 4th period or something, and she had the TV on, and she never like had the TV on, and it was the news, and it was 9/11, and they were replaying it over and over again. And the whole day, we didn't have class. Like we went from room to room, but we just went from room to room to watch the news.
Right.
Like we didn't have like actual class that day.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember I was in, I can't remember the teacher's name, but we were having standardized tests. We were having like the whatever the ISTEP test. Yeah. And basically, we were all taking the test, and then like we heard the teacher. I can't remember her name, but she was like an English teacher. But she turned on the radio and was like listening to it at a low volume, and she was like, she interrupted the test and everything. It was like, hey, a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center, and like in my head, I didn't know what the World Trade Center was. So in my head, I pictured Grand Central Station. So I was like, how is that? And then, like, the whole time I'm thinking, like, oh, it's like a small plane or something. And then they ended up turning on the news, and that's when I saw the second plane hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it was a weird day for me.
So I've learned from your live journal.
Yeah, yes. Oh, God.
So today was a weird day.
Anyway.
Like you have any personal connection whatsoever.
Right.
To this terrorist attack.
Well, I think that says a lot about the headspace of a 15-year-old boy in high school.
That everything has to relate back to you.
Exactly.
And revolve around the sphere of your world.
Exactly. Well. Anyway.
So
8th grade, it was good.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah. Also, 9/11 happened, and that sucks.
Jesus Christ.
This is a weird episode.
Why do I invite you back on the podcast?
The ratings.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So anyway.
What other weird traumatizing incidents from our childhood do we want to talk about? Okay.
Not from childhood, but meeting you.
Well. Okay, so yeah, I think that'll probably wrap up our conversation on 8th grade and also 9/11.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've talked out 9/11.
We can wrap up 9/11 now?
Jesus. So yeah, it's almost 11. We should start wrapping this up, really.
So, the spoiler review?
Yeah, spoiler review.
I don't think we'll have much to say.
We really won't. So we're going to go into spoilers again.
This
will be after the...
Well, who am I speaking with?
This is David Duke.
Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. That David Duke?
God. Last time I checked. What can I do you for?
Well, since you asked, I hate blacks. I hate Jews, Mexicans, and Irish, Italians, and Chinese. But my mouth to God's ears, I really hate those black rats. And anyone else, really, that doesn't have pure white Aryan blood running through their veins.
I'm happy to be talking to a true white American.
God bless white America.
The
So I want to talk to you about the footage at the end. That was
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. Yeah.
It was a year ago, almost a year ago today.
Yeah.
August 11th. That was when the what was that? Unite the Right?
Something
rally?
like that. Yeah.
Where white supremacists were marching in Charlottesville.
But there were good people on both sides,
right.
Kyrsten.
And there was footage of Trump saying that.
Yeah.
The day after the counter protesters who were run over by the car, and there was a tribute to Heather Heyer who was killed. And at the end they showed the flipped flag.
Yeah. The upside down flag, and then it gradually just transitioned into black and white. I thought that was incredibly profound.
Powerful statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of course the symbol of the upside down American flag is that, the country is in disarray or
there's
a word.
Distress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. I also want to talk about the scene at the end where when he leaves the party, and he follows Connie to Patrice's house, and he tackles Connie to the ground. Connie starts yelling about, he's trying to rape me, he's trying to attack me, and then two uniformed police officers show up. And of course, we as the audience know that Ron is a detective, and he's a plainclothes detective, undercover. They don't know that, and he's yelling. They're handcuffing him, and he's yelling, "I'm a cop!" And
they don't listen.
One of the guys has him in handcuffs, and the other guy is yelling, "Show us your badge."
Yeah.
How is he supposed to do that? You know?
Yeah.
And they beat him with their nightsticks, and they're kicking him when he's on the ground, and he's yelling the whole time. And he's there because he knows that Connie has planted a bomb somewhere.
Right. Oh yeah.
And Patrice is in very serious danger. And he's yelling, "I'm a cop. I have my badge. I'm a cop." And they don't listen until his white partner shows up. And I felt like that was that very specific scene was in there for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so...
And they even say, when he shows up, they say, "The black guy's a cop?"
Yeah.
Like it should be that shocking to you when he's been yelling that at you.
It's just... Oh, God damn it. Yeah. And it's just infuriating because that is how,
that black men are treated. In America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's fucking despicable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved the one scene toward the end where they finally get that racist cop.
That was so great.
Yeah.
I really thought that he was just going to beat the shit out of him, and that would be the end of it.
I'm glad they did it that way.
Me too.
I'm glad that they busted him.
Yeah.
Got him fired.
And I think part of my thought of being oh, I think he's going to finally beat the shit out of him or something is that I just really wanted him to see the shit beat out of him.
But this was the way to do it.
So much sweeter. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, so I mean, you don't track your movies or anything like that.
No, I
fine.
don't.
Yeah.
I just go see movies and I enjoy them.
That's fine. I was gonna ask would this be one of your favorite movies of the year? But I guess
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would it?
I don't know.
I enjoyed it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks for bumping me, Matt.
You are welcome.
I appreciate it. Has a woman ever said that to you before?
No comments, but I am glad that I haven't recorded it.
He said no!
Okay.
Pizza's getting distressed. We should...
She is. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Right.
Also, no!
No!
Not funny!
Not funny.
I said that to someone and they didn't get the reference, so I just looked like a weird jackass.
So pretty normal day then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay. So 10 seconds of silence. Oh, I need to look up and make sure that there's no movies we're forgetting.
No!
Not funny.
Thank you for listening to The Obsessive Viewer, presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. You can find more of our episodes at OV246.com, And you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or anywhere else podcasts are found. If you'd like to support the show, the best and easiest way is to leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews means it'll be easier for people to find the show in the highly competitive film and TV podcast genre. It also provides us with valuable feedback on the show. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a one-time PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate or become a patron at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer for recurring donations with different reward tiers. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, notebooks, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can also buy other great TeePublic designs in our store, and we'll get a small commission on the sale. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. The Obsessive Viewer's theme song is An Eclipse of Events and is provided by Loudlike from their EP, Mistakes We Must Make. You can find that and more great music from them on iTunes and like their Facebook page at facebook.com/loudlikemusic. Any and all feedback on the podcast is encouraged. We love to hear from you guys. You can contact us by emailing podcast@obsessiveviewer.com or by tweeting us at obsessiveviewer, at obsessivetiny, and at IamMikeWhite. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer, where you can take part in discussions and polls between episodes. For more podcast content, check out Anthology, Matt's solo podcast, where he's reviewing The Twilight Zone as a first-time viewer and exploring other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows. You can find Anthology at anthologypod.com and anywhere podcasts are found. For book lovers, you can check out our sister site at obsessivebooknerd.com for book reviews, author spotlights, and a general celebration of reading. Finally, if you're philosophically curious, check out Tiny's side project podcast, The Secular Perspective, which explores the concepts of faith, religion, and existence from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda. You can find that at thesecularperspective.com and subscribe to the podcast on the app of your choice. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.